All right, so this is 41-1, and we're going to be taking a look at the law of cosines to be able to complete these. So for number 1, if alpha is 104 degrees, b is 25, and c equals 37. So for this function here, if I draw my triangle, A, B, C, here's 104, it's 25, this is 37, this is side angle side, so that means I need to use the law of cosines to be able to complete this. And so the first value that I'm going to be able to find here is going to be A. It's always going to be, in this instance, opposite of the angle. And so that's going to be A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC, and then it's cosine of the given angle. So in this case, 104 degrees. So plugging everything in, A squared equals 25 squared plus 37 squared minus 2 times my B times my C times the cosine of 104 degrees. You'd enter this into your calculator and take the square root of both sides, and it'll give you what your C is going to be. Now once you have your C, then you could use another law of cosines to be able to find either what angle C is or angle B. You could also then use the law of sines if you're more comfortable with the law of sines, and it might make it a little easier. Let's look at number 3. So for number 3, I have A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 5. So in my triangle, we already know that this is going to be side, side, side. So that's still the law of cosines. So if I wanted to find what angle A is, angle A equals the cosine inverse of, it'll be B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. And you enter that into your calculator. So in this instance, it'd be cosine inverse of 2 squared plus 5 squared minus 1 squared all over 2 times 2 times 5. Now, we have to be careful about entering this in your calculator. If you enter it like this, you have to put parentheses around that top there because we're adding. We don't want to divide before we need to. And then you enter that in your calculator, it'll find you that angle A. And then once again, once you find what that angle A is, you can then use the law of sines to find the other pieces. So number 7 says find the measure of each side indicated. So drawing this out, this says 70 degrees, this is 3, this is x. And so because this is a right triangle, I can use my sine, cosine, and tangent ratios, or SOHCAHTOA, to be able to find that. And so from this given angle here, I have my opposite side and my adjacent side. And so that'll be the tangent of 70 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. And then getting x by itself, you're going to get x equals 3 over tangent of 70. You enter that into your calculator, and you're going to get your answer. Now for number 10. For this one, we're trying to find our angle. Now this is still a right triangle, so those ratios still apply, the sine, cosine, and tangent, or SOHCAHTOA. And so I have to find the angle, I still have to establish that relationship. I have adjacent and hypotenuse, so that means I'm going to use cosine. So cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And then to get the angle by itself, take the inverse. So you get theta equals cosine inverse of 4.7 over 14. You enter that into your calculator, and you're going to get your answer.